An illegal immigrant and suspect in a deadly hit-and-run accident in court today and could be back out on the streets if he posts bail. ICE agents issued an immigration detainer in an effort to arrest and deport the suspect. Colorado officials have refused that detainer. Alicia Acuna is in Denver with the latest. Hi, Alicia.
Hi, Trish. Yes, that suspect was in court today, charged with vehicular homicide and leaving the accident. He's also suspected of drunk driving. Take a look at this video of the aftermath. Denver police say Ivan Zamaripa Castaneda crashed into a semi-truck on Interstate 70, an action that resulted in this fire. And the driver of that semi, a 57-year-old man, trapped inside his cab. The 26-year-old suspect in this country illegally, according to police, took off, leaving that man to die. Police eventually caught up with him. And now U.S. Immigration and Customs agents want to deport him and they sent a civil detainer request to the Denver Sheriff's Department, which is refusing, telling Fox News in part the Denver Sheriff honors criminal warrants signed by a federal judge or a magistrate. Additionally, the department also honors valid release of notification requests from ICE. The Denver Sheriff's Department will not honor civil detainers as it is considered unconstitutional. So unless ICE gets a federal judge to sign a warrant, Denver won't hand this guy over. And if he posts the $25,000 bond, he'll be free until his court date. Denver has not honored civil detainers since 2013. And Trish, the city does tell us that they will let ICE know if this guy is released. But as ICE has pointed out to Fox, they use these civil detainers to keep these types of people off the streets and the public safe. Trish.
All right. Thank you very much, Alicia. I guess we're going to ask here, are sanctuary cities such as Denver actually dangerous? Former Department of Justice official John Yoo says you bet they are. I hear you, John. I mean, if they're not doing what they need to do to actually enforce the rule of law, and when ICE comes and wants to detain criminals, they allow them back out on the streets, what kind of anarchist kind of world are we living in?
The Constitution, Trish, is clear, could not be clearer on this. Immigration is a function of the federal government and the federal government's alone. States don't have to help the federal government when it carries out its legitimate duties, but what they cannot do is obstruct and stand in the way. And they have a duty to share information with the federal government. So if this guy, who from the clip you just played looks like he's responsible for manslaughter, is being released on bond or bail in some way, the federal government should have the right to see when he's being released and where, so they can pick him up and remove him, as you pointed out, under federal law. The states do not. The states are independent in the sense they don't have to help the federal government, but they cannot obstruct and prevent the federal government from doing its job. And immigration is the job of the United States.
John, it seems like a crazy argument to be even having. Right? In other words, why would any community want to protect someone who's there illegally and has committed a crime? Why would you want that person in your community? Shouldn't you want to take all the help you could possibly get from ICE?
Unfortunately, we're seeing this all over my home state where I live right now, California, particularly the city of Oakland. And I think what's going on, unfortunately, is you have city and state officials in places like Colorado, Denver, California, San Francisco, who think it's more important to make a symbolic political statement against the Trump administration, even though the Trump administration is carrying out valid federal law, rather than paying attention to the serious crime and economic issues in their own cities. So they are putting, I think, the welfare, unfortunately, of their own residents before their efforts, their rush to make some kind of political statement against the president.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Let me turn to another story that is developing today. Of course, we just saw moments ago that former Trump campaign aide Sam Nunberg was leaving a Washington courthouse after testifying before a grand jury, of course, in this Russia probe. He made a lot of headlines earlier in the week. I mean, my goodness, a lot of headlines, and clearly has a lot of problems. John, I mean, the idea that Mueller's team would be looking to him to provide any kind of credibility to any kind of potential Russian collusion, that makes me a little worried. I mean, how trustworthy is this guy as a witness?
Look, I think Nunberg, unfortunately, did not learn at the great source of American authority, the game of Monopoly. In the game of Monopoly, It says you go to jail, you go directly to jail, and you don't collect $200. That's what happens to you if you don't obey a subpoena from a grand jury. And it doesn't matter how much Nunberg doesn't like Mueller, how much he wants to protect the people he likes and works with. You have to obey a subpoena. Even the President of the United States, President Nixon, in the end, obeyed a subpoena. So unfortunately, I think that this guy's judgment and credibility has really been ruined. I don't think, but maybe that was his goal all along, was to make himself an unusable witness.
You may have gotten that. Anyway, John, it's good to see you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Trish.
And thank you so much to all of you for watching Your World Today and all week. My thanks to Neil, as always, for letting me sit here with you today and all week. Make sure you tune in. Watch Cavuto Live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, when they have the father of Parkland shooting victim Andrew Pollack on his meeting with Governor Scott to discuss school safety. That will be a very interesting interview. And also GOP congressional candidate Rick Saccone ahead of Tuesday's crucial election. It all happens here on Fox Business. You can catch me every day on Fox Business at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Intelligence Report.